Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Miss Norida and everyone. We are from Group 3, consists of Nurul Ikmal binti Hussein, Nurul Nazira binti Othman, Siti Nur Aisyah binti Ahmad Faridi, and also Aufa Nadira Zahir binti Muhammad Zahir are going to talk and present on how to paraphrase and summarizing. For table of content, we have introduction, paraphrasing, summarizing, and lastly, comparison. So the first one, we are going to talk about the introduction. In this presentation, we have been asked by our lecturer, Miss Norida, to talk about on how to paraphrase and summarize. The topic is divided into 3 categories, which are steps, strategies, and tips. Lastly, we are going to illustrate on the differences between paraphrasing and also summarizing. Now we are going to talk about paraphrasing. So the definition for paraphrasing is that when you express the meaning of something written or spoken using different words or a new word. It is a very powerful technique to help not only increase your vocabulary but also help increase your coherence, fluency, grammar, and also pronunciation. So academic writing. For academic writing, paraphrasing is one of an effective way for you to restate, condense, or clarify another author's idea while providing any credibility to your own argument or analysis. While successful paraphrasing is very essential for strong academic writing, unsuccessful paraphrasing can also result in unintentional plagiarism. So, in order for you to avoid getting unintentional plagiarism, here are some steps, strategies, and also tips on how to paraphrasing. Now I'm going to talk about steps on how to paraphrase. The first one is you separate the information by choose any relevant paragraphs that you want to paraphrase, and then you separate them by sentences. Here, for example, this 3 point or 3 sentence is actually in one paragraph. So you divide them and make it and separate them into bullet points. So it helps you to get a better view of how you want to paraphrase for each of the sentence. Next, you highlight any content words. Content words refer to like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, adverbs, except for adverbs of frequency, and then question words and also negatives. So you choose any words that carry the meaning of the sentence. So here you can see for each of the sentence, I already bold any words that can carry the meaning of each of the sentence. And then once you're done with bold, you make new content words by searching up any synonyms that suits words that you already bold. So basically, synonyms are an excellent method that helps you to broaden your vocabulary and connect words to the appropriate meanings. So like for example, on sentence 1, you can see shores. The synonym for shores is like seashore, seaside, and beach or coast. So you list out synonyms that suits the content words that you already bold. So this one will help you to pick and see which synonyms are suitable to be used later on when you are making a new sentence. After that, you complete the sentence. You make full sentence by simply string the new words together with anything that you think works well, and then you use whatever different function words that you desire in order for you to make make new full sentence. So you can see on the left the original text, and then on the right paraphrase text. You can see how by changing the content words into different words with same meaning, which is the synonym words, it creates a new sentence or new text. A new sentence that is different from the original text. So this will helps you to avoid from getting unintentional plagiarism. Okay, after that, you review what you write. So after you make the new sentence, you write out the entire statement and then you read it aloud to yourself again, and you ask yourself whether is this perfect. Okay, so if not, then you need to consider why and what you may not like with the sentence. So you need to go back and look or refer to the original text again, so that you can see if there's like anything that you want to add to the new phrase, or you want to omit a new word. So, and then you ask yourself whether the new structure starting to lose its meaning from the original or not. Because if that's the case, then you have to make changes until you are satisfied and until it is perfect, until it is perfectly okay. So that's all from me.
Hi, I'm Aisha, and I will talk about the effective strategies of paraphrasing. First, you will have to read thoroughly through the passage and reread the original passage if you wish to paraphrase, looking up any words you do not recognize until you think you understand the full meaning of and the intention behind the author's words. So it is impossible to read specific bits of a text while also justifying the text meaning without first understanding the message. So as a result, it is critical to read the information and fully comprehend its credibility and significance. Next, you will have to restate the ideas using your own words. So write out the author's ideas in your own words as if you were explaining it to your instructor or your classmates. The initial step of restating is using a different structure of writing, simple use of synonyms and antonyms than the original quotation, while paraphrasing is not enough, so it can still be counted as plagiarism. So on the contrary, when students rewrite the text, they can include something original in spite of citing the exactly same or similar idea. It can be done by altering the sentence structure or using a different voice in the statement. The paraphrased version should sound similar, however be different in structure. Other than that, we should always recheck our paraphrased text and compare it with the original one. After you have finished writing, check your account of the author's idea against the original. While comparing the two, ask yourself the following questions. Have I accurately addressed the author's ideas in a new way that is unique to my writing style? Or have I tried to replicate the author's idea, or have I simply changed words around in his or her original sentences? So, rechecking is an essential part of paraphrasing. If a student misses out important points of the original text while paraphrasing from the text, it will render zero significance to the student's text. Students should always read and recreate the meaning of both texts at a parallel to avoid losing sight of the original intent of the author. Lastly, we always need to cite the sources we have used. Include a citation which should contain the author's name, the year, the page, and paragraph directly following a paraphrase. Only because the student paraphrased the part of the text does not signify that they don't need to give a citation and reference to the original source any longer. It is a part of validating that the students of instructed ideas and opinions of another author in enriching his or her original content. The same is signified by citing the original source in the form of an exhaustive reference list, an in-text citation of the name of the authors and year of publication of the text. These are some helpful tips of an effective paraphrasing. First, only include the information that is relevant to your argument. Next, make sentence structure in your own way instead of copying the structure of the original. Change the sentence structure and use a different voice in statement. Then, always present information in a different order. The first step in restating is to change the writing structure. While paraphrasing, simple use of synonyms and antonyms than the original quotation are insufficient. Also, always make sure that the paraphrased text convey the same meaning as the original text. Next, always reread the original passage. This will prevent students from changing the original author's message, hence it is very important to read the original passage thoroughly. Lastly, be sure that you understand the text clearly. It helps the person to rewrite the text, keeping the originality and elementary ideas of the text intact even in the new format of the text.
A summary is a synthesis of the main points of an article written in your own words. It is a combination of selecting the relevant information and condensing it so that it is no more than a third of the length of the original text. A good summary illustrates that you have understood the text clearly. Academic summary, on the other hand, is a concise representation of an academic text. The summary's purpose is to enable the reader to determine in a limited amount of time if and why a paper, chapter, or book is worth reading. An academic summary is different from an abstract. Academic summary characteristically shows the argumentation structure of the text, which is the skeleton of the argument. So how do you write a summary? Step number 1. Read the text. You should read the article more than once to make sure you have thoroughly understood it. You won't be able to write a good summary if you don't understand the source text. It is often effective to read in 3 stages. Stage number 1. Scan the article quickly to get a sense of its topic and overall shape. Step number 2. Read the article carefully, highlighting important points and taking notes as you read. And stage number 3. Skim the article again to confirm you have understood the key points and reread any particularly important or difficult passages. There are some easy tricks you can use to identify the key point as you read, which is start by reading the abstract. This already contains the author's own summary of their work, and it tells you what to expect from the article. Pay attention to headings and subheadings. This should give you a good sense of what each part is about. And finally, read the introduction and conclusion together and compare them. What did the author set out to do, and what was the outcome? Step number 2. Break the text down into sections. To make the text more manageable and understand its subpoints, break it down into smaller parts. If the text is a scientific paper that follows a standard empirical structure, it is probably already organized into a clearly marked sections, usually including an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. Other types of articles may not be explicitly divided into sections, but most articles and essays will be structured around a series of subpoints or themes. Therefore, try writing a word phrase in the margin next to each paragraph that describe the paragraph's content. Then you can see at a glance what each part of the article focuses on. If several paragraphs cover similar or related topics, you may group them together into sections. Step number 3. Identify the key points. Note down the key information and important supporting details, but avoid examples, dates, numbers, statistics, and data. Next, think more carefully about what points are most important for the reader to understand its argument. And finally, pay particular attention to the thesis statement, the central claim that the author wants us to accept, which usually appears in the introduction, and the topic sentences that signal the main idea of each paragraph. Step number 4. Write the summary. Use your own words but keep the keywords of the original text, and use transition words to link ideas. Properly paraphrase the author's ideas. Do not copy and paste parts of the article, not even just a sentence or two, because this may cause plagiarism. Put the article aside and write out your own understanding of the author's key points. When summarizing as part of a larger text, it is essential to properly cite the source of the summary. The exact format for citing depends on your citation style, but it usually includes an in-text citation and a full reference at the end of your paper. Step number 5. Proofread the summary. Finally, read through the article once more to ensure that you have accurately represented the author's work, you haven't missed any essential information, the phrasing is not too similar to any sentences in the original, and finally, if you are summarizing lots of articles as part of your own work, it is often a good idea to use a plagiarism checker to double check that your text is completely original and properly cited. Just be sure to use one that is safe and reliable.
Hi, my name is Nur Iqmal. I'll continue with the strategy and tips parts. Number 1, we have somebody wanted but so done. This strategy is great for story summarizing. Each word represents a key question related to the story's essential elements. Somebody, who is the story about? Wanted, what does the main character want? But, identify a problem that the main character encountered. So, how does the main character solve the problem? And then tell how the story ends. Next, we have SAAC, State, Assign, Action, Complete method. The method is used for summarizing any kind of text such as a story, an article, or a speech. The acronym refers to a specific element that should be included in the summary. State the name of the article, book, or story. Assign the name of the author. Action, what the author is doing. Tells and explain. And then complete the sentence or summary with keywords and important details only. And then number 3, we have 5 W's and 1 H. The 5 W's and 1 H strategy relies on 6 crucial questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. These questions make it easy to identify the main character, important details, and main idea. Who is the story about? What did they do? When did the action take place? Where did the story happen? Why did the main character do what she or he did? How did the main character do what she or he did? The first then finally technique. The technique helps students summarize events in chronological order. The 3 words represent the beginning, main action, and conclusion of the story or the writing, respectively. First, what happened first? Include the main character and the main event or action. And then, what key details took place during the event or action? And finally, what were the result of the event or action? Give me the gist. When someone asks for the gist of any writing, they want to know what it is about. In other words, they want a summary, not a retelling of every detail. To introduce the gist method, explain that summarizing is just like giving a friend the gist of the writing and have a sharing session with friends to practice summarizing on a regular basis. Now, we'll move on to the tips. Number 1, we have practice using familiar text. Number 2, put your focus on the main idea. Number 3, include only the details. Number 4, divide the text into a few parts. Number 5, make sure the text is long enough to be summarized. Number 6, differ between fiction and non-fiction. Number 7, practice sharing a summarization of writing with a friend. Number 8, practice writing it as much as you can. So the last one is comparison between paraphrasing and summarizing. We use paraphrasing when another writer's work has to be used, when quotes are not used in the text, when the ideas have a greater relevance than the style of writing, and when you want to simplify the work of another person. But for summarizing, is only used when only the main ideas of the writer are to be identified, when only an overview of the whole work is required, and when simplification is required. And for the last one is when only the main highlights of the work have to be mentioned. I think that's all from us. Thank you.